All right. So I shared the rubric for assignment 3 for you. Probably you haven't seen it so far, but I want to discuss some points with you. So this is the rubric for assignment 3. As you will see, you should put your schedule and your resource planning, your cost planning, your risk management activities and stakeholders analysis. And you will see that the overall presentation is 10 marks, 10% of your mark. So it's good if you have your page number, table of contents, the flow of your presentation, your assignment, language and grammar, and completeness of the whole assignment. So if you, for example, if you don't submit stakeholder identification or mapping, you lose mark for that part, and also you lose the percentage of mark from overall presentation. So in your assignment 2, I saw that some of you haven't followed the structure of the presentation, and you haven't submitted some parts. So when you don't submit a part, you will get 0 for that part. So make sure you put all the relevant parts in your assignment. Any question about the rubric? Okay. So have you had the chance to look at Microsoft Project and start working on Microsoft Project?
A little bit.
What about the others?
Yeah, only a little bit so far.
Okay, so
I have a question. The one that are using Microsoft, there's 2-3 different version. One is the standard one. One is the professional.
You use Project 2013. It doesn't matter really if you use 2010 or 2013. Both of them are fine, but the course is set based on Project 2013.
13, yeah.
Masood, I've got a question.
Yes.
If we don't have Project 13 on our computers and using it through my desktop, can we still save that on our desktop to submit it? Like, how would that work?
So you say you don't have it in your application?
On my laptop itself, but I've got it, obviously. I can access it through my desktop, but then where do we save it?
Okay, so let me go to the software.
I think you can save it in your student file in there.
So for example, this project, when you want to save it, you go for File, and you go for Save. Then it's better to save it on your computer, for example, on your desktop. So
or the student file.
Oh, okay. Or on your student file, so you would be able to find it. So for example, when I browse here, I go for this PC and save it somewhere on this PC. If you save it on favorites, for example, desktop here, then you will have difficulties to find it. So go for your PC, for example, save it on desktop. So in this way, it would be saved on your desktop.
Okay, and then do we have to open up my desktop through the portal to access it again? Can we just access it straight from my desktop?
Yes. You always need to go through your My Desktop. Because the software is has not been installed on your computer. Your
And you can't do that either.
Basically, you are using a virtual environment to access the software.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get my head around. Okay, cool.
Okay. So, any question about the software, the content that we have addressed in the last week? Okay, so we talked about Gantt charts and how to find the critical path. So whenever you want to find the critical path, you go for format and you click on critical tasks. So you will see the red marked activities representing that these are your activities that they are on critical path. So it is important to show it in your assignment. Then, when we had a look at resource sheet. This is the sheet that we are putting our resources here, including for your project, including a laptop and desktop. If you remember, we discussed that you can put laptop and desktop and whatever other resources that you have and set them as cost. Okay. Then when you want to assign, you go back to Gantt chart view and assign your resources here. When you want to work on cost, you click on view tab and go for tables and click on cost. Then if you have allocated some tasks, some resources like laptop or desktops, for example, this one. If you have allocated, for example, desktop to this task, then you would be able to put the cost of desktop and laptops here, for example, $10,000. So you add it in the fixed cost. And then you might want to put it as a start of that activity, for example. So, any question?
Yes, I have got a question. Is that the laptop could be two types here? One that I'm using for my work and one that I'm procuring for RMIT.
Okay, if you want to charge your personal laptop in the project, so you will need to add it in the resource sheet. For example, personal laptop.
Okay.
Okay, and you can charge a cost for it. Another way is that don't report it here, but for example, if this is the resource that you are using, on cost per use, you can put the cost of your laptop. For example, you charge $10 per use of your laptop.
Okay.
Okay, this is another way. So, let me go back to rubric first. In the rubric, you will see that for each part, you will need to discuss that part. So if you put your time schedule, it's not enough. Or you show us your critical path, it's not enough. If you just put it there and everything is correct in your time schedule, you will get just half of the mark. So you will need to discuss it, discuss your assumptions. What assumptions you made when you were making your time schedule, or when you were allocating your resources, what assumptions did you make? So make sure you discuss each part. This is the part
every single task we have to discuss.
Yes. For example, when you do time scheduling, you use kind of predecessors. For example, finish to finish, finish to start. You will need to explain what type you used and why you used them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to show you one submitted assignment from other projects. So this is a good example of the assignments that has been delivered before, so you will get an idea.
Beautiful. That's good.
Okay. Let me find it first. So I want to share it with you. Okay. Do you see the table of contents?
Yep.
Okay. This is an application development project. The structure of the assignment is somehow 90% the same as what you are going to deliver. So in assignment 2, you delivered project scope statement, assumptions and limitations and exclusions, priority matrix. So you will see that there is a discussion under that matrix. And then this was not relevant to your part. Group approach or project approach or company approach, which you should have discussed in the introduction part, which many of you were missing that part. Deliverable descriptions and WBS. So your WBS should have been something like that. And WBS dictionary is a narrative of each element of WBS. So this is your schedule. It should be something like this. So you will need to show the critical path here, and also you will need to allocate resources. And you see that there is a discussion. There is a discussion under each part. How did you choose milestones, or what kind of predecessors you used? You can discuss here. Then you will need to submit network diagram, something like this, but not for all activities, just for major deliverables. For example, level 1 of your time schedule, not all levels. So then you will put your assumptions again. In a resource allocation, you will need to report your resource sheet and then discuss a little bit. Discussion would be required for that.
So this is from the Gantt chart, is it? This is from the Microsoft
yes
project.
If you generate reports from Microsoft project, and you will incorporate it into your assignment.
So do we just simply copy and paste those into our document? Because I was trying to do that over the weekend with Visio, and it wasn't working.
Yes, there are limitations for this version of Microsoft project, which is already on your Mac desktop. So I will give you some insights how to generate reports. When I start again working on software, I will show you how to generate reports.
Okay.
So then you will have task usage and resource usage reports based on the time flow of your project, and you will discuss it. These tables and graphs, they are all coming from the software. And then you will need to present the cash flow of your project and discuss it. In a stakeholder identification, you will need to have a stakeholder analysis matrix find your stakeholders, and then you will need to discuss this table. And then it is important to report a stakeholder mapping, just like this, something like this. Then you will have a stakeholder communication plan. Once you identify the strategies for your stakeholders, you will discuss those strategies. And you will come up with a communication plan. Something like this. This is a stakeholder interrelationship that you do not need to put it into your assignment. But if you add, it will add a quality to your assignment as well. But you don't need to do that. It's not mandatory. Then risk identification, you will need to identify something like 10 risks, 10 different risks in your assignment. And then you present them as a risk assessment form. And for those risks that have a high risk value, for example, first 5, you will need to develop a strategy. Risk severity matrix, you don't need to put it there. The other thing that you will need to put in is risk response plan. So you will put it here for 5 top risks, and then you will discuss them. Okay. So is that clear to you now? How you generate the report, how to follow the structure?
Are we going to get a copy of this? This
No,
report?
unfortunately, no, I can't. If it wasn't, your time is very short and squeezed. So the best way to show how to do your assignment is that to show you a sample. So that's why I did it. In face-to-face meetings and tutorials, you will not see that kind of stuff. So I can't send it to you.
Okay.
I can show it like this. Okay. So going back to the software.
So do we just add all this, all of the requirements for assignment 3, we just add to our report that we created for assignment 2?
Yes, you will add them. You will generate report and then you will add them. Then you will need to discuss, put your assumptions in the discussion.
Yeah. So are we going to get feedback on that report this week then to be able to? Because
yes,
I'm just wondering if we've done something correctly. How are we going to continue on with this report with the assignment 3?
I will try to do that, but there are something like 40 assignments. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah, I will try. I have already started, but no, it takes time. But I will try to do that before you go for the second, for your third assignment.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, how are you going to generate reports? The basic way and the correct way is to go for this tab, reports, and try visual reports. But visual reports are not working on in this version that you have is not working. But if you try Microsoft 2010, you can access to visual reports. I just going to show you. You can try it from Microsoft 2010, Microsoft Project 2010. So for cash flow, for example, you click on cash flow report, and then you set your timeline, for example, weeks, and then you click view. If I do it here, it doesn't work, but in 2010 it works, and you can generate your report. So,
but can we, if we work on Microsoft 2013, And then can we get the generate report from 2010? Can we do that?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can access to 2010 from your My Desktop, and still you can generate reports. But I show you other ways to do that, okay? Okay, so there are other ways to generate report. For example, in report tab, there are other icons that you can use. One is cost. So you click on cost, click on cash flow. You will see that you have your cash flow here. So if you click, for example, click on this graph, there is a field list that you can play with it to find your best option. For example, this is just a portion, a quarter of a year, so it's not appropriate for you. So you click on edit, and then you will change this to maybe months. Oh, it's better to put it on weeks. Just play with these things to find your appropriate. Okay. Do you see that? This is the graph that you will need to report. This is cash flow graph. So the orange one is your cumulative cost. And if you plan well, it would be like a very slight S curve. It would be like S. So try to come up with the S plan, S cumulative cost. When it is in the form of S, it means that your job gradually starts and the level of effort increase during the project, mostly during execution part. And when you go for closing, you have less effort. You will put less effort on the project, so it would be more flat at the end. So it should be more flat at the beginning and more flat at the end. And there is a sharp rise in the middle. So it should be like a very shallow S.
A question, how does it relate to the product cost? See, when you deliver something like procure laptop and desktop, all of a sudden
that cost will also appear in your tables. If you do your resource allocation correctly, that cost also will be reflected here. Okay. Then, if you click on this, this is also the parts that you will need to report. Here, it is outlined the level 1. You put it on all subtasks. So you will see that you have all activities costs here. So you will need to report these two. Now, when you are in this page, when you want to generate a report for this page, you go for File, and you export it. You export it into PDF. Then you save it somewhere on your PC. Okay. So it's not there yet.
Copy and paste it back into your project.
You can't copy and paste it from the software, unfortunately.
No, but if you save it as PDF, you can either do a screenshot or put it into your final assignment document.
You can do that as well. You can do that as well, but make sure I can read it, okay?
Of course.
So
what about the demonstration date? Sorry to interrupt, but when is the demonstration date going to be set? Because that's a fairly critical point in the project that will affect a number of factors, I guess.
But when you do your planning, that is the date that you will decide, and you will set it as your milestone.
I understand that, but In the first part of the assignment, it was said that you would set the demonstration date.
This is based on your assumptions. Once you decided what is the demonstration date, you will put it in project proposal, and then we decide whether that date is correct or not. But basically, you do it. So
Okay.
start the project from 20th of December 2017.
Yep.
And then list your activities. And if you follow it correctly, you will find a suitable date for that demonstration date. But it should be close to the beginning of the project.
Of course.
Yeah.
A question. What? Oh, geez, I forgot. Oh, it will come to me again.
Okay. So.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the installation. In our project, in our RFP, it doesn't mention at all that we have to install the desktop or laptop after delivery.
If it doesn't mention, it's better to exclude it from your project.
Okay, so we just leave it up to the delivery.
Yes. So whatever it's not mentioned, some activities are not mentioned, but they are naturally included in the project. For example, inspection or follow-up with the suppliers, this kind of stuff, or formally closing the project. These are the activities that you should consider. But some activities has not been mentioned. For example, installation of the desktops. So for you, it would be better to exclude it and put it as exclusions of the project. Some of you have already discussed it in the exclusions when you were submitting assignment 2.
Okay.
Okay. Now, for cost, you will need to show this is actually the cost estimation of the project. This one is cash flow. So you will need to put cash flow table. Another way is to also for resources, you will need to report resource usage and resource task usage. So don't forget, for resource part, you will need to put resource usage, something like this. And then also you will need to put task usage, something like this. Okay, so don't forget task usage and resource usage for resource part, and for cash flow part, you should put time phase budget or cash flow. So
the hourly rate for the resource, how do we determine that?
this is based on your estimation. You will come up with a resource cost and resource. It's up to you to design the timetable of the projects and estimate how much is the duration of each activity. So you are doing planning for this project. Just assume some, make some assumptions and make your durations, your project durations. I can't tell you how much does it take to deliver the laptop. So you will need to plan for it.
Okay.
Basically, if I can interrupt again, it's the process that's more important than necessarily the actual figures that we involve. So that if we cover all the processes, including task usage, resource usage, and the costs are pretty much made up, so you can try and aim for that budgeted cost, that's where we get marks. Is that correct?
Yes, but for example, if you put something like $500 for
Yes, for an hourly rate of $500, you're not going to make the budget.
Yes. And
Yes.
also for the price of laptop and desktop,
You can't make them $2 each.
no. and also it would be good if you look at have some research on the website of Dell, HP, or whatever, Lenovo, or whatever, to find what are those costs.
Yeah.
So that those are good figures, and you should have done it in your assignment too, and most of you have missed this. So there was a part named description of the deliverables. So you will need, at that time, when you were submitting assignment 2, you should have done some research and come up with some examples or some options for your laptop and desktops and laptop bags. And you should have put it in assignment 2. Some of you have done it, but unfortunately most
Hang on, that wasn't discussed at all as a deliverable. The description of deliverable would be the outline of what has been stated in the statement of work.
Do you want me to show it for you? To show it to
No,
you?
well, the deliverable was what we needed to deliver, which is a laptop and a desktop to these specifications, including a bag. Costs weren't covered in
No,
those
I'm not talking about cost.
The cost and product type was never mentioned.
I'm not talking about the cost of those.
Yep.
No, but a product example
because
was
you
mentioned.
did mention a reputable brand. The brands are mentioned as well as the sizes and the specifications, but not costs, correct?
See, in item 4, deliverable description and WBS dictionary, the contractor will provide a description of each deliverable and WBS dictionary. So all of you have put WBS dictionary, but there is no description of each deliverable. What are the major deliverables of the project? They are laptops, desktops, and laptop bags.
Yes.
So you should have.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean we're describing an individual brand or product. We're describing.
I think last week we discussed about in the deliverable description was documenting all our findings, what we found out about what product we decided on and whether it met the specifications or not. Isn't that what we discussed?
You have almost all of you have provided it, and it is a part of project scope. But here, the deliverable description, as you remember, I discussed that you should have a research on the laptops and desktops. And anyway, it doesn't have a big mark. So WBS dictionary and deliverable description has 20% of your mark in this part. But I have allocated just 5%, 5 points for deliverable descriptions. So for those who haven't discussed, they do not lose a big portion of mark.
Masood, there's a question. What about the price that we put in the assignment 2? And is it negotiable? Is it RMIT going to negotiate and bring it down, or shall we discuss that anywhere? Or what about the price we put in there? That's the price we have to work with for assignment 3.
Well, you have a budget. That's what you have to work towards.
Yes, you will.
How you make up the budget's up to you.
Yeah, and if you find appropriate desktops, it would be unlikely to get 200,000. It should be more, but it is up to you. It's the way that you plan. It would be up to you. But we are really not into to find what is the real cost of laptop or desktop. Okay, so if you put 80,000 or 120,000, it really doesn't matter. So we just look at to see how you have developed your cash flow tables and how have you developed your resource planning part. So this is important to us. But sometimes, for example, you put cost on constraint, then your project priority matrix, and then you will come up with 120,000 as your budget. So these two has to be consistent to each other. Okay, so the only case that you lose mark from the cost of budget of your project is that it is inconsistent with your project priority matrix. Is that clear?
Yes, it depends on the assumption made originally.
Yes. So if you think that the assumptions you put for project priority matrix is going to change in your assignment tree, make a description and highlight that you have changed this part, so you not lose mark for that part. Okay, discuss it, why you change your plan.
Understood.
Okay, so for example, if do you see the page?
Yep.
Okay, so when you want to generate it, you want to generate file, and again you export, and if it works, you will get your PDF file. I want to show you one of them if it works. The problem with this this Microsoft project is that when you want to generate report, the software calls for Excel and Visio to generate the report, but it can't call them from the virtual machine, so that's why you can't see them. You can't do it. Now, okay. So do you see this page or the PDF file? Or, oh, sorry, I have to share it. Okay, so this is the output of the software. Do you see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you put it into your Word file.
Mm-hmm.
And then you will discuss it.
So that means to do that, transfer that file, I have to have the Visio in my laptop?
No, these are just in PDF formats. So you don't need to have any other file. You just drag the PDF and put it into your Word file. See, this is a Word file.
Yeah, yeah, I understand that.
Okay, so if you just drag it here, see, now the file is here. You just put a caption on it and then discuss this page.
Yep.
Okay. So, any question about the software? Because I want to move to other areas that we want to discuss today, risk management and stakeholder management.
Okay, the holiday, if we have some holiday in between, there's the project life, timeline.
Okay. So do you want to work on holidays?
No.
So don't think about it. The software already has put in its normal calendar.
Okay.
Saturdays and Sundays are off. So if there are other days that you don't want to work on those dates, you go for project, and then you have changed working time, and you put those exception days here. Okay. You will put them here. For example, first day of January. If you are off, you put first day of January, and then you put the date. Okay.
But 1st day of January already a holiday in the normal calendar, right?
It should be, but if it is not, you just put. Now it is off. It is off for you. So the software will find it for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other question about the software?
Yeah, I've got some questions, Masood, but I'll take them offline and ask you directly,
Okay.
as not to waste everyone's time.
All right. Okay. So you have 1 week time to do that. Make sure you put enough time for forming your report, because 10% of your mark is going to the structure of your report and how professional your report is. So don't put it in the last minutes. Okay, so I want to move on. We want to discuss risk management and stakeholder management. So in the project, you will need to, in regard to risk management, you will need to proactive. So you will need to anticipate all the risks that you know at the beginning of the project. So you will need to find risk events. What can go wrong in the project, you will need to find. And then you will need to come up with a response plan for those risks. So this is the way that risk management is in projects happening. So what do you think about the risks that you might have in your assignment 3? What do you think about the risks? What risks do you have?
Not delivering the item on time.
Okay, so delay in delivery of the project would be one of the big risks.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
The cost blowout is a big risk.
Okay, cost overrun could be a risk. Anything else?
The printing on the bag could be not acceptable, or the not quality print.
Okay, so this could be a risk. How you address it?
We have to have that kind of contract with the printer, that if it's not qualityful, how they're going to replace it and how quickly they can do it.
So one way of addressing it could be you demonstrate.
Getting samples?
Yeah, you find examples, and in the demonstration day, you present it to your customer. So it means that you are doing planning for it. You put it into your plan. So you mitigate the risk by setting appropriate plan for it. Okay, so as you say, the reason that we are proactive about the risk management is that the cost of risk, if we find it at the beginning of the project, is less costly than at the end of the project. So when you find a big risks in the middle or at the beginning, at the end of the project, the cost of change and remedy for that risk would be high. But if we anticipate it at the beginning of the project, although the risk is big, the cost would be low. We plan for it at the beginning of the project. There are 4 stages for risk management: risk identification, risk assessment, risk response development, and risk response control. So what you need, what you will do in assignment 3 is the risk identification, risk assessment, and risk response development. So all these 3 are in the planning stage. Once you have been, the project has been awarded to you, then you have your risk management plan. Then you will start to control the risk. And not always all of the risks are known to you at the beginning of the project. So some risks, they are coming into your project during the execution. So you will need to have a process to identify them, and then again go back to first stage risk identification, assessment, and strategy development. So this is a circle. This is so you will need to have all the procedures in place when you do risk assessment and risk management. So these are important for your assignment 4 as well, because you will need to discuss this stage of your assignment 4 when you are answering the questions. So make sure you read the textbook, and so you would be able to discuss them in your assignment 4 as well. So a start for risk identification, you should be able to generate a list of possible risks. Start from big risks, the risks that they are already known to you. For example, your contract is a fixed price contract. So you when the contract price is finalized, any budget overrun would be a big risk for you. So you will need to find those risks. Then you will need to look at your activity list and your work breakdown structure, and come up with the other risks that you might be able to find. Once you identified and list the risks, there are some techniques. We have risk assessment metrics and risk severity metrics. I discussed the first one because you will need to put it into your assignment. For the risk severity metrics, you will have some discussions in your virtual classroom, so you will be able to find out what is severity matrix. So this is the form that you will need to put in your assignment 3. So you come up with the risk events, you list them, and then based on the likelihood of happening, you will get them, you will give them a mark from 1 to 5 maybe. Then based on the impact they have, how big that risk is. So when the risk is big, the impact would be big. So you also put a number for it. And then detection difficulty, how hard it is to detect it. For example, when you think delay in project, delay in delivering product as a risk, what do you think about detection difficulty? Is that hard or not? What do you think?
The delay in the project?
Difficult, I think.
Why it would be difficult?
It wouldn't be difficult at all.
Wouldn't know.
Supplier can either supply or can't supply.
So if you constantly follow up from your supplier, it wouldn't be that hard. But if you don't have an activity, for example, follow up or expediting from your supplier, it would be hard because you have no idea that it is going to happen. So it is important to anticipate, to mitigate it by constantly following up with your suppliers. So if you put it 1 and you don't have any activity for follow-up in your time schedule, so you will lose mark for this part. You know, because you have taken it too easy. So make sure put your assumptions in discussion of this table and make sure that those assumptions are logical.
And you said that we have to come up with 10 of them, right? And we have to deal with 5, top 5, is it correct?
Yeah, you will find 10 risks. And then based on the risk value that you will get, for 5 top risks, you will find an appropriate risk strategy, and then you will discuss it. Okay. So what are the strategies that we have? One is mitigating risk. So it means that we reduce the likelihood and impact of bad risks by revising our plan or by other methods that we might have. Okay. So, for example, if you have delay in your project, changing your time schedule and putting some slack time for delivery of the project is a way of mitigating that risk. Another possible strategy is transferring risk. So it means that we pay a premium to pass the risk to another party. You will have a supplier, okay? So a part of your project will be transferred to your supplier. So by that transferring, you would be able to transfer some of the risks to that supplier as well. For example, you will have 5% penalty if you delay in the project, isn't it?
Yep.
So how are you going to answer to that risk? And to risk of losing a portion of
Maybe we have to have back-to-back contract with a supplier with the same condition.
Okay. This would be a way of transferring that risk. Or sometimes you can, is that proportional? I mean, losing 5% in your contract, is that proportional to losing that 5% in supplier?
No, no.
So you might want to increase it.
Yep.
Okay, so this is another way. But you should know that transferring the risk does not omit the risk or does not change the risk. The risk still is there. You just try to reduce maybe financial impacts of that risk to another party. But you can't reduce the likelihood of the risk by transferring it. Okay. Another way is avoiding the risk. So you change the project plan to eliminate that risk or the conditions that that risk bring to you. So sometimes one job is too risky and you decide not to do that. For example, in this project, if you come up with a budget plan like $200,000, and we are willing to negotiate on $100,000. So the cost risk would be very big to you. So you might decide to avoid the risk by not doing the project. This is an example of avoiding the risk. Or you cut a scope of the project, a part of the scope of the project, to reduce the risk. So this avoiding risk means that you change the scope. You reduce the scope. Okay, sharing the risk. Any idea what is sharing the risk? How does it different from transferring the risk?
It's the best way I can explain it is it's the what if calculation. If you are late, we are late, so you may be, your delivery times are dependent on ours. So we're actually splitting the profit, I guess, for want of a better word.
What you explained is kind of mitigating the risk.
Okay.
Okay. Or it could be accepting the risk, retaining the risk. So we know that we have to accept it. We know that we have delay in the project. So we go to discuss with our client, and we make them accept that's delay in the project. But sharing the risk, I give you an example. For example, you want to participate in a tender, and you know that that project is very big, for example, $1 billion, and you don't have enough capital to do that project. So you go and talk with your bank or another financer, and that finance, you will share that the benefit of that project with that financer or that the bank. So they assist you with your financials, and they will receive a benefit from that project. So this is kind of sharing. Okay.
All right. So basically, you are sharing the profit and sharing the risk.
Yes. Okay. For example, have you heard about joint venture contracts?
Yep.
2-3 companies, they are forming a joint venture and go for a big project. This is a form of sharing risk. Each of them individually, they can't do the project. They don't have the expertise or they don't have the capital. So they decide to share the risks and also share the benefits. So this could be an example of sharing. Does it make sense to you?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Would be a nightmare for project managers.
They usually are.
Yeah. So retaining risk simply it means that accept the risk. We have no plan to respond to that risk. So we think that if it happened, we just try to change our project plan and accept the cost or other risk of that kind of event. For example, we are making a bridge, and we know that there would be a slight risk of flood. So if the flood happens in that river that we are making bridge on, so there would be delay in our project or our product might be damaged. But as the risk is very low, the likelihood of happening is very low, we just decide to accept it. But if it happened, it means that more cost, and it means that maybe our product quality is getting low, so we will need to have a rework. This is accepting the risk. There are some risks that you will find them, but you have no plan to respond to them.
So those risks are supposed to be very low risk, right?
Yes.
Rather than high risk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those risks are very big. It actually depends on the level of risk taking of the organization or the project authority. Some companies are risk taking, some not. So risk evaluation is really about the level of risk aversiveness of the company and the decision makers in the project. If your organization is very conservative, they don't accept big risks. Okay? So it is important how conservative is your organization. You know, you probably have heard about risk reward, situation. So big risks usually come with big rewards, but some organizations are willing to accept it, some not. Does it make sense to you?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Once you find your top risks, you will need to find a risk response strategy. So you will need to come up with this risk response form. So you put your risk response strategy. What triggers that risk response? This is the criteria that you will set. For example, if you have delay in the project, what is your triggering contingency plan? You will need to set it. Then what would be your response plan. You will explain it in the fourth column. And then you will find the person responsible to initiate that strategy. It would be one of your team. The resources that you have selected, you will name responsible persons here. And please don't put your client here, okay? Because this is your risk that you will need to address. I have seen that some students, they put the name of client here. It's your risk. You will need to come up with a plan.
Can I put your name in there?
Is the client?
What do they think?
Oh,
Is the
okay, you are our client. Of course, you can't do that.
Okay. So
Does it have to be a name, or can we put a title, a job title?
it depends on the way that you have done your resourcing. If you put names there, you put names here. If you have put disciplines, you put discipline here, or department here.
Yeah.
Based on what you feel is right.
So the size of your team, I know I'm just going sideways, the size of your team's up to you anyway, especially in this particular project.
Yes. Okay, so risk response control is about executing, finding what triggers that risk and applying that risk response strategy, constantly monitoring the triggering events and finding when to initiate the contingency plan and constantly watching for new risks. And it is important to have a change management plan as well. So some risks comes with changes in plan, in scope, time, or cost. So you will need to follow a change management strategy as well. But these are just should be discussed in assignment 4, not assignment 3. Okay. Have you identified your key stakeholders in your assignment 3? Who are your key stakeholders?
I haven't started working on assignment 3.
It's you, your client, people physically doing the work, and the people you're kind of delivering to, I guess.
Okay.
Supplier?
Supplier, definitely.
So your project manager in your organization, your project team, your suppliers, and also your client RMIT Procure, and some other departments in RMIT that they are receiving your product. Which department is receiving your product?
The higher research
Business.
students.
Okay.
Business also, College of Business.
College of Business, or you can name IT department in RMIT IT department. Those people, they are receiving the product and they are inspecting those products. And you mentioned people that are using that product.
Students.
HDR students. Are they key stakeholders?
I don't think they're key stakeholder because they're not going to see the product before they start using it, right?
Key stakeholders, they are decision makers. Okay, so HDR students, they can't be your key stakeholders. They are one of your stakeholders, but they are not key stakeholders because they level of interest and their impact on the project is low. Okay.
Yeah.
So, stakeholder management contains 4 stages: stakeholder identification, plan stakeholder management, including planning for communication management, and management stakeholder engagement, and control stakeholder engagement. These are somehow important for your assignment 4. So make sure you read the textbook and virtual class content for assignment 4. Okay, so once you identify the stakeholders, you will need to analyze them. So this graph and table is what you will need to put in your assignment 3. So you will name the stakeholders here, and then you will assess them based on their level of interest in the project. Are they interested about the outcome of the project or not? High, low, or moderate? Then you will assess the level of impact, how their decisions are important in the project. For example, RMIT Procure, your client. Are they interested about the project?
Yes.
So, a little bit. A little bit, put it low, okay? But if it is high, if they are very interested, you put it high. And then what is their impact? What do you think?
High.
The impact is high. Okay, so they would be able to cancel the contract, make decisions to change the direction of the project, or they can even terminate the project. So their impact of decision making is very high. So you will need to keep them satisfied. Okay. But what about the people, the HDR students that they will use your product?
The interest is high, but their impact is low.
At this point in time, what do you think? Are they aware of this project?
They would have to be.
Know that
The number is set, so there's 40 students that are going to be allocated for these units. So I would assume that they'd be expecting their laptops and desktop.
So yeah. This is an assumption that you have. So make sure then you put high, put your assumptions there. Okay. So this is a logical explanation that you made. If you don't put it there, and I see that you have put that one as high, I will ask why, because from my point of view, it might be low.
Yes.
Okay. So that's why you will need to put your assumptions.
So my opinion may be wrong, but if my explanation is right.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Okay. So you got the point.
Yes, I did.
Okay. So make sure you put these two, and your graph should be something like the one that I'm presenting. Don't list them in the graph. Put the actual points. Okay, these are important because, for example, stakeholders C and E, you should be able to manage them closely. But I want to know that which one of them is more important to you. Okay? So I need to know what is their exact point in that graph. Okay. All right, so I also have uploaded this presentation so you would be able to see some other points. I didn't discuss all the pages. So any question that you might have? Is that everything clear for you?
Clear as mud.
It's not very well. It's not 100% clear, but yeah.
Okay. So if it was 100% clear, what was the point of that assignment?
At least you would know that we are clear.
Okay. So I don't expect 100%, being clear, but if you get the concept, you would be able to apply it.
Okay, we do have 1 week for another webinar. Now, within that period, if we work with this, and would you be able to give us some guideline next webinar?
Next webinar, I think it would be late for you for assignment 3.
Is it?
Yeah. What is the due for assignment 3?
We've got 2 weeks.
11.
If you got 2 weeks, that would be okay. I don't know the exact date.
It's 11.
The 11th of June.
Okay, so if you have time, yes, ask your questions next time. And as always, you can send emails.
Oh, you'll be getting a few from me.
Okay, that's okay. But
Can you put them on the group discussion board so we can read them as well? Because your questions are quite good, Diane. I like reading through it.
yeah, that's a good place to discuss about assignment 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And use
Yeah,
them
that'll be good.
because if I see one email is very important, I will post those information there as well. But it's better to discuss assignments there. I every day check it 3-4 times. So
No, I've actually got specific questions about MS Project.
okay.
So that's what the emails will be from, not necessarily about the assignment. It's a
Alright.
project that I have an issue with.
I think we all need help on the MS project too, so that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Have a look at lynda.com. There are lots of videos there that they are useful to increase your competency in the software. Also, there are lots of whatever you type about Microsoft project in YouTube, you will find a good video there.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, but lynda.com, they talk about to go for their training, After every YouTube topic, that goes, okay, you can more information, you can join us and you can go for our training and blah, blah.
Okay, so do you see?
They need to make money too.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you see the page now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not sure this site has free content. Let me check.
There are some on YouTube you can watch too.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of
lots of
YouTube.
videos in YouTube, but project. Let me check. This Udemy website is a very good website.
Sorry, I can't see it in on the screen though. Which one is that?
PowerPoint on the screen.
I don't want to advertise this website, but yeah, but that's a good website if you want to look at it. And can you see udemy.com?
Yeah.
Okay. So
The first one, is it?
Oh,
yeah, there are lots of training videos there, and all of them are professional. And if you, I'm not sure if there are some free content here.
okay, I get it.
Yeah, but this website is very good, and they also give you certification if you.
It's Udemy, is it?
Udemy, yes. And you see that udemy.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is very good website, but this is if you want to be professional in MS Project, it's good to buy some of their packages. And as
Not
you
even the cost of a decent drink, $15.
As you see, some of them are very cheap. Yeah, but you don't need that for this project, this course, because whatever you need, you can find it in YouTube as well, and you can ask me. This is for future use.
Yeah.
Thank you, Masood.
Okay, I wish you all the best, and looking forward to see you next week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.